Patrick and the rest of the panel, could you talk about kind of your old way of doing things and what that now means from a process standpoint as you're starting to use SuitePeople?
Yeah, so literally day one I was handed a spiral notebook and they said, this is our time off tracking. It was all handwritten notes. It was, again, very primitive. We moved on to Excel, but it was very just administrative burden. Someone would send an email, you'd have to track it. Now with SuitePeople, we've been able to actually have a time off plan assigned to each employee. We've also been able to implement different time off types, whether it be paid time off, bereavement pay, or even floating holidays. And it also gives an insight to the employees themselves, because before, unless they were tracking themselves, there was nowhere for them to see their time off. So now they have a self-service. They can log into their employee center and see exactly what their balances are. So it's really improved just not only administratively, but just the visibility for the employees.
And Amanda, from a DSI standpoint?
DSI formerly used, JD Edwards used to be our major ERP system, and when we switched over to NetSuite, the addition of the HCM and time off has been an enormous benefit to our employees, especially our global employees. Our previous system we used was through SharePoint, and JD Edwards fed that information into SharePoint, but it really didn't capture the different employee time off types that are all throughout our globe. People in Australia, our employees there, they have annual leave. Our UK employees have holiday, where here in the US we have paid time off, and it's a use it or lose it program. And so there's multiple, from bereavement, just like Patrick said, and personal time off, floating holidays, and so forth. And each country has their own specific time off plan type, and NetSuite has allowed us to now individualize each plan to the employees in those locations. And it's really nice because now they can all also go online, see their accruals, see what time they've used, and so forth and so on. And it's streamlined our process tremendously, and it's also helped us from having to do a lot of manual work when there was a dispute as to what time balances they may have had, and having to go back and research multiple systems. So using NetSuite has been great for our time off management for our global, specifically US of course, but globally has really made a huge benefit for us.
Great. And Julie, what about your experiences? Kind of, you had alluded to this, what you were using before, and what does SuitePeople now mean from a process standpoint?
Right, I think the biggest benefit for us is just the efficiency of having one tool that can be used for multiple purposes. So we did previously have an HCM system that was effective, but it was only used for one purpose, which was PTO tracking. And for those people who live outside of human resources, it was just complicated to remember where you go for which different task that you're trying to do. And so now having everything shifted over to NetSuite, meaning the directory is there, and the time off management is there, and the org chart is there, and they're already using NetSuite for project management and timesheet issues. It just helps simplify where people are going to get their information.
Fantastic. So I'm sensing this theme of time off management. Lo and behold, I think you're about to show us in the product a quick demo.
All right, so thank you very much. So this starts with our, I'm going to start with time off management. I'm going to show you some of the things about how an employee interacts with time off, and then how also HR interacts with setting it up in the system. So here we have our brand new employee center, which shows you a variety of portlets, brings together different information from the suite, such as your purchase orders. You can view the statuses, or you can enter new ones. Your expense reports, you can track the history of your expense reports, or you can use these portlet-like menus to access additional functionality. We have a kudos feed. Employees can go in, give recognition to other employees. Shows up in this, in this public feed, fosters a culture of engagement. We have links to different things like employee directory, org browser, and so on and so forth. We also have payroll. As I had mentioned earlier, we're careful about the information that is sensitive, so we only hide what you need. You can print your pay stubs, but all in all brings a lot of functionality together, including our time off. So you can see how in this particular organization, different time off types have been defined, from volunteer time to sick time, personal days, jury duty, and so on. You can see your balances right in your portlet, but you can also jump on from there to request time off if you like. So right now I'm logged in as Emily. She's our employee, and she wants to, let's say, request time off for vacation next month. And it's as simple as picking the dates from a calendar. Pick your start date for the beginning of, let's say we're going to go for June 15th to 20th. It will create this table for you. You can see what types are available according to your plan that has been assigned to you and the balances. It even shows you if there are any conflicts or warnings. So I can see Christian is off at the same time, but that's okay because he works on a different project. So it gives that warning for both employees and managers. You can also mix and match. So you can here see, maybe the last stage Emily wants to pick up as from a personal day pool, and she only wants to request half a day because she wants to come back to work for a meeting on that day. So you can do all of that using our new time off self-service. You can put in a message for your manager, please approve my vacation. See the summary, you're requesting 3 days and a half personal day, and the request goes through with a notification to the manager on which they can action. So very easy to use, straightforward. And it also flows into your timesheets and resource calendars for SRP. Now I'm going to look at the HR side of things. So this is my HR dashboard with my key metrics and KPIs preloaded for the HR for the HR generalist or HR director. I can track my requisitions. I can see the reminders. But let's go into our time off tracking and take a look at that. So we're going to look at how this particular company has defined its time off plans. I have here a company which supports Australia, Canada, US, and for each one of these jurisdictions, it has defined different plans with different leave policies and rules within it. So for example, a US plan can be different than the Canadian employee plan, which can be different than an executive plan, and so on and so forth. Let's take a closer look at one of these. This is my US time off plan. In this particular example, we have set it up with several types. So there is jury duty, for example, that is allowed. You don't have an entitlement for it, but when it happens if you are called. You can also see personal days, sick time. This company allows 15 vacation days every year for the first 5 years and 20 days after the first the first 5 years are over. So you can build the plans which dynamically will stay for the life cycle of the employee, and has lots of configuration options. In this case, the vacation time is set to accrue automatically. You can have 20 days every year, and they accrue on a monthly basis. So you have all these options on how and when you want to accrue this. How long is this plan valid for? And you can even allow the employees to carry over unused time off. I'm going to make a change here and limit the amount of time off they can carry at the year end, and set it to perhaps, let's say, they can only carry over 5 days after the year end. And you can even say, when does the carryover expire? So very extensive configurable options. And you can separate that by each time off type, by each jurisdiction or department or your location. So very comprehensive capabilities there for time off.
Fantastic.
Anything the panel wants to add there?
I would add on there that at our company at Greenberg, as your tenure increases, your amount of time off increases as well. And so that can be programmed to automatically trigger in this system, which is great.
Excellent, excellent.
And we were able to sort out the, because you had that one time off type where you were able to accrue at 5 years a week off, a sabbatical week as well. So that was fantastic.